Last week in my Real People, Real Stories segment, I talked about taking the time to get to know people you see all the time, but you really have no idea who they are. And I said that based on experience, because right down the street from where I live now, there's a young man who's lived down the street from me for years. And I had no idea that he's changing lives with this brilliant idea that helps people who have no way to communicate plug back into the world with a simple pair of glasses. Tonight, meet Dan, Nancy, and Maggie in my Real People, Real Stories.
Margaret was a student at Smith College. She was a senior. She was getting ready to graduate the following week. She was in her room and she had called her dad that morning. Said, "Oh, I've got a headache. I don't feel good." Her girlfriends heard her in her room. Something wasn't right. There were issues with the neurologist about her consciousness. And this doctor was saying he didn't think that she would progress beyond a vegetative state.
We're gonna, in a second, put the glasses on Maggie. We're gonna set up the software a little bit, and we'll show them what you can do, huh?
So Margaret, are you interested in using the computer for a couple of minutes today? Can you show Maria how you move your eye?
And can you look down for me? Hey,
Nice.
there it is.
Nice, I'm impressed.
That's
Excellent.
her yes. That's how she answers yes to questions.
Yeah.
Just a simple look down.
Not bad for a girl who was given some pretty bad odds. Maggie can now answer her mother a yes or a no.
Here they come.
If she's asked if she's cold, if she wants to go outside, if she's in pain. And Maggie and her mom, Nancy, can thank Dan Basher, a kid who grew up in Foxborough, now a researcher at Brown University, and a cheap pair of glasses.
See that little red dot?
Right.
It's actually finding where her pupil is. And so Maggie, can you go ahead and look down for me? See that?
Good.
Excellent.
Wow.
And so you can see this little trace here, that little spike. That was her moving her eye and the computer detecting it. So instead of $15,000 for a system that is really complicated to set up, that sometimes maybe requires a trained therapist to know how to use it, what we've done is taken a $20 webcam, put it on a pair of glasses like this that we picked up at Ocean State Job Lot for literally $2, and hooked it up to a laptop that Maggie had already owned, so they didn't even have to buy the computer.
You installed the software.
We installed the software, and by the way, the software is actually developed with a group of students.
From Brown.
Yep, at Brown, and also a med student at UMass.
And here's how this whole thing evolved. Dan looked at all the great technology out there with video games, like gaming headsets, eye tracking devices with video games, and with a bunch of young researchers and student volunteers, he said, hey, why don't we adapt this for people with disabilities, like brainstem stroke victims, people with ALS.
We can put a pair of glasses on Maggie's face that can enable her to interact with the world. Why wouldn't we do that?
And that's when he started the Speak Your Mind Foundation.
But the idea is this is just a standard webcam that's looking at her eye, and what it's actually doing is finding the position of her pupil. And when she looks down, the computer detects that she looks down, and it will let her pick something on the computer or speak yes, or just some basic form of communication. The whole idea here is to allow her to kind of essentially independently communicate through the computer by moving her eye through this pair of glasses that we put on her.
So she knows what the answer is. She's just never been able to communicate what it is until this.
Yeah, she's what's called locked in, which means mentally she's fully present, just like you and I. So her brain is working. She's thinking, she's ready to say things.
What are some of the things you say to her?
Oh, well, I mean, I've asked her, what do you want to do today? That's what I start my day with and I use the computer, and if she's in a good place, so I'll say, so do you want to go outside? Do you want to watch a movie? Do you want to paint? Do you want me to read to you? And she'll give me an answer. And, sometimes it's like there's a no, I definitely don't want to.
Can you ask her if she wants to be on TV?
So are you interested in being on TV?
This time, there was no answer, and sometimes that happens, but every time this mother has been able to communicate with her daughter is beyond a blessing.
You know, Nancy, when I sit here in front of you and I look at Maggie and then I look right over her shoulder and this beautiful, beautiful, smart, promising girl, and then I look at how you love her. The same way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right?
She's still smart and wonderful and beautiful, and I've learned so much from Margaret before she had her stroke and after she had her stroke.
And what do you learn now after
Well,
the stroke?
I've learned patience. I've learned about hope. I'm not going to give up. Just because someone says her odds are 95 to 5, you know, like 95% failure rate, I'm going to do it. This is my daughter.
This device, I mean, Maggie is just as much of a part of this team as the engineers creating it.
Right.
We're learning so much from her to figure out how to build these things to help many, many other people. You know, Maggie's a pioneer with us.
And so for me, and I know for Margaret, to be a pioneer, to help, like, I know it makes me, like, cry. I mean, because if she can't communicate herself, but she can help someone else communicate, like, that will be worth it.
This is just the beginning for Dan and the SpeakYourMindFoundation.org. They just finished this big crowdfunding campaign. They raised just under $25,000. They're not done yet, though. If you want to help, go to SpeakYourMindFoundation.org. And Dan tells me if you're an engineer out there, you're watching this. You're a designer, you're watching this. You're a professional who just wants to volunteer. He would love to have you, to hear from you. You can just sign up on their website.